So, what is the relationship between imposter phenomenon and other mental health challenges that you mentioned earlier, like anxiety or depression?
Well, I mean, the relationship is that there has been a consistent finding that imposter feelings are associated with increased feelings of anxiety or symptoms of anxiety and depression. I mean, every study that I've ever conducted and every study that I've ever seen reported shows this association. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's I think we're pretty confident in saying that if you are experiencing, imposterism, you are likely going to be also experiencing feelings of, symptoms of anxiety and some depression.
And so, if you treat those symptoms, then does that help the imposter phenomenon?
Not necessarily, because they can be different, right? I think one of the things that I've seen though is people who have treated their anxiety with like CBT skills, or can use some of the similar CBT skills around their imposter syndrome. So I think the skills that you're learning are transferable, but I think you have to tackle the specific, experiences of imposter syndrome around this experience of being a fraud and being incompetent. One of the things that I think is really important for me in my work has been to help people to identify the early experiences that were the foundation for why this imposter syndrome became what it became, whether it was rigid roles in childhood or whether it was family dynamics that were common. I think that has been really helpful for people because I think they start to realize, oh, this thing didn't come from nowhere. And the reason why I'm triggered by particular things today has a history, and that makes sense to me as opposed to this thing came out of nowhere and now I don't know how to stop it. I think it gives people agency in a sense of like, oh, I get it now. This didn't come from absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, no, if I could build on that, I mean, when you read, some of the early work by Clance and Imes, they talk about both having internal factors and the external environment sort of factors in terms of contributing to how the imposter phenomenon was created. So, for example, regarding internal factors, what they noticed amongst the women that they were working with was the women reported receiving messages about being competent in all these different areas. You're so skilled interpersonally, you're so skilled, I mean, in all these other areas, but not anything related to their intelligence. So they started to at some point think, well, I'm good in these other ways that are more sort of socially related, but no one is ever telling me that I'm, naturally intelligent or that I'm intelligent. So they started to internalize those messages. And then in terms of the external environment, being told, for example, that they in fact were really smart, very competent, superior even, but then finding that even though I'm being told this, I'm struggling to meet these expectations. I'm trying to sort of live up to what people are saying that I am, but not being able to, or feeling like they're not being able to. And so both those sort of internal factors and the external environment were reported by Clance and Imes as sort of contributing to the creation of imposter feelings.